afternoon, and welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Providence Holy Cross Medical Center, IMAC Med Spa, and Comfort Keepers in Home Care. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host,
Dr. Thomas Polucki,
on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And first guest this morning is co-host Dr. Thomas Polucki.
Hey, how'd that happen?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Was it your doing?
No, it's never my. I just work here.
You mean you volunteer here?
Yes, I volunteer here.
That means no money.
Yeah.
No moolah.
Yeah.
Okay, what's up today?
Well, as you're such a great example, I mean, aging is inevitable, but decline is a choice, right? And most people don't necessarily embrace that so much. So today we're going to talk about enhancing one's quality of life, right? Having a quality of life through the seniors years. I mean, we've worked so hard for so long to enjoy retirement, but unfortunately for so many people, by the time they're ready to retire, they're either financially or physically or mentally, emotionally just broke. Just,
Very true.
Just trying to survive until it's time for them to move on. And that's not the American dream. It should be so much better. We should be able to enjoy not having to grind it out every single day.
That's very true. And I think a lot of it has to do with people's outlook on life.
We're going to get to that. That is one of the topics, because mental health is critical. It's a big piece of the puzzle.
And it starts from the beginning you're born.
Sure, of course.
Yes.
But from combating chronic pain through boosting joint health. We're going to dive in deep today, but we're going to keep it light. This is not. Wait. I'm going to get you moving too. So, Barb, you know about our unique approach in my practice as far as the chiropractic without a twist or a crack.
Thank goodness, because I've had that before, and that's very unpleasant.
And the functional nutrition, the diet, and the homework I give you, the exercise. We're going to demonstrate a little bit of all of that today. Okay. It's maybe a little bit challenging for anyone listening on the radio right now, but we also are on Facebook. And you can watch a replay of this both on Facebook and at the hometownstation.com. So we're going to have color commentary from Jen, our board operator. So hopefully, it will be the descriptive service of the show.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yeah, letting you know what's going on here. So I'd like to demonstrate. But as soon as you say the word chiropractor, you get the visual of somebody wrenching and twisting and
lying on the
jumping, kickstarting like a Harley and yanking on people.
Oh, yes. Been there, done that.
And that's what goes on in a lot of places. So I get it. I understand why that is the concept that most people have, but not all chiropractors do that. There are, I believe, maybe a couple others in this town that won't do that on most people. I never do that on anybody. And it's not just because I'm trying to be different. It's because I taught at 2 universities, and that stuff just doesn't make sense to me.
You have a different method that accomplishes the same thing.
At least as good results without any of that drama or trauma. So
mostly trauma. Yeah, at least where I was concerned.
We're going to treat you live on air. You've been an established patient for decades. You come in a couple times a month at this point to make sure that everything is lined up and you're staying out of trouble. And so we're going to show people how that is possible without what they think chiropractic means. Does it sound good? Sound good to you?
Sounds good to me.
All
Yes,
right.
yes, yes.
So if I could have you stand up, we're going to do it right in the middle here.
Shall we move this?
No,
No.
between Jen and I, we're going to try and let people know what's going on here on the air. Hold on, I got to get these going. There we go. All right.
I see green lights.
Yeah, green lights. We got the green lights. So I've got these two little pulsy devices that I'm going to put on different muscles and joints behind the back of Barb's head, working down her neck into her shoulders and down the sides of her back. And as I do it, if I find a restricted area, a tight muscle, a stuck joint or whatever, I'm going to have Barb move in a way that with the help of the vibration is going to loosen up and get that joint moving properly. So I'm going to go to work.
As long as I don't have to take my hair
off. Well,
don't mess up her hair.
You can leave your wig on.
And don't tangle her necklace.
But it might knock your socks off. So here we go.
I don't have socks on.
Oh. Stockings.
Okay, so Dr. Polucki, you're using these two devices. They're little tiny, I'd say probably 3 or 4 inches big. You have two of them in each hand.
Yeah, about the size of a lipstick.
Yeah. And so when you're using something like this, obviously someone comes into your office, they can have this treatment. Is this used in combination with other treatments, or is this just, I'm having neck pain, can you use those devices on me?
That is a great question. And the answer is, there is not one answer.
Yeah.
I don't have a one-size-fits-all practice. I do not believe in one-size-fits-all medicine for any condition, for any person, at any time. I pre-framed this part of the segment with, letting people know that Barb has been my patient for 2 decades.
Yeah.
So I know what's going on with her. I wouldn't just have anybody come in off the street and say, oh, here, we're going to do this because this is what everybody needs. It doesn't work like that. I know what Barb needs.
Right.
And it changes. It changes day to day. It changes depending on what kind of stress she's dealing with. So I know where her problem areas are, where her serious injuries from past problems, still have some impact on her. And I still have to check every single time, where's the tension? Where's the stress? Where's the restriction? Where's, the problem that needs to be resolved? And to answer your question, no, this is just one modality. I think I have over 10 different physical modalities that are possible. That's not including all the various different kinds of chiropractic techniques that don't involve twisting and cracking.
Right.
So I do some things by hand. I do some things with a device called an activator, or a mechanical version of that, or even what most people are familiar with as like a massage gun.
Right.
So there's all of that just in the physical realm.
Yeah, can I interject?
Yeah, please do. Can you, here, we'll put you, there you go.
Okay. Now, what you're doing to me already I feel better.
How you like that?
In that short amount of time.
Yes.
Wow.
It's amazing.
That's awesome. So, Dr. Polucki, would this be can you pick a favorite? You just mentioned you have about 10 modalities. Is this probably your go-to, your favorite one?
Okay, bring it up this way a little bit.
In terms of what it can accomplish for your patient and ease of use, that type of thing?
What's interesting is I didn't realize that this was in pain until he's fixing it.
Feel good? We'll fix that. No, I'm real good at finding the problem even when people aren't aware of that.
Yeah,
That's crazy. It really is.
Yeah. So to answer your question, Jen, my favorite technique is the one that gives the result that you just heard from Barbara.
Yeah, that quick.
In this case,
that turnaround.
this is the technique that is my favorite for Barbara for right now.
Yeah, everybody's different, like you mentioned
Yeah.
before, and every issue has different problems day to day. Yeah.
So the art, you know, what people are lacking, I believe, so much in their quest for quality health care is that so many doctors are just going through the motions, putting them through the routine of what is expected and what insurance pays for and what, you know, they can bill for. And everybody essentially gets the same treatment every time. Right. And that I'm not picking on anybody. I'm just saying that there's a reason that we have the most expensive and least effective healthcare system on the planet.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I am not bashing America. I am just pointing out facts that are readily, you know, researchable.
Right.
We do, even though we have by far the best emergency healthcare system on the planet, we fared no better in the pandemic.
True. Yeah.
Than people who had nothing.
Right.
We do a horrible job at keeping our population alive or healthy at in every metric.
Right.
So that, you know, again, I'm not bashing anything. I'm just saying, you know, there's room for improvement as long as people are open to the idea that it doesn't have to look like what you see on the news.
Right. And I want to say, though, I like your approach. You've always talked about in previous shows how you focus a lot on nutrition and supplements. And I love that that's your step one is right there. Yeah. Not just, oh, well, let me just give you a bottle of pills and come back in 6 weeks and let me know how you're doing. I love that approach because that's really where your health begins is what you're putting in your body. Sure.
I mean, we sell supplements too. I don't want to confuse supplements with prescription medication, but there are very strong supplements that are considered nutraceuticals. This is not a show about that. I have developed my own line. There are amazing alternatives to many, let's just say, over-the-counter remedies that you can do with natural food concentrates, which I believe are better.
Yeah.
You know, so there's that. But yes, I think more and more people are becoming a little bit more disenfranchised with the way things are done in mainstream. They may not know exactly what to do about it, though. So there's an overwhelming amount of information out there. Unfortunately, most of it is not very beneficial, and not even if it is from excellent sources, it may not be appropriate for the individual looking for an individual answer to their unique situation or condition or problem or whatever. So that's where you really need somebody who knows something about the way things really work in order to maybe coach you through, guide you through
the right way. Yeah.
And that's what I feel I can bring as a value to my patients, both online, on air, in person, virtually. I'm building a telehealth business, and I have helped people dramatically that I've never met. So it is possible. Everything that you see here today, I can show people how to do online. And part of my COVID silver lining was when I had no option but to work with people virtually, I had to develop all this stuff. So now there's really no excuse, except, you know, there's some costs involved. And some people are still, well, the first question is my insurance going to cover it? And wait, hello, who are you? How could I even know that? I don't even know who you are or what your condition is or what you're looking for. But it's just like a knee-jerk reaction. Do you take my insurance? And I'm like, probably not. You know, if that's your first question, then the answer is probably no. I hate to say it, but the good news is Medicare will cover what you just saw me working on Barb here. Medicare, real Medicare will cover that, as long as it's not been HMO'd, as long as it's not been managed by somebody else, because then you lose pretty much your say in who you want to see anymore. As long as it's government issue Medicare, it pays. So that's a good thing to know for this audience. And open enrollment, I believe, is still available if you haven't already chosen to go with a managed care system. The regular Medicare will cover this kind of treatment. So, so the next step we touched on was nutrition, Jen, and thanks for bringing that up. Because foods will either age you or keep you young. It is literally that simple. It will ultimately determine how much medication you're going to need to treat how many different diseases throughout the course of your lifetime. And then there's you run into the treating the side effects of the treatment, and it just spirals out of control. But if you start off with a good foundation of giving the body what it needs in order to stay healthy, instead of what tastes good in the moment. And there's plenty of extremely nutritious foods
that taste good,
that taste amazing. Yes, it's just absolutely. That we're so conditioned for the convenience, for the comfort, for the immediate gratification of what it feels like or tastes like in your mouth, that really do a number on our healthcare, or our health, everyone's health at every age, but especially seniors, because it gets more difficult. Even though you have more time, and your generation may be the last generation that actually knows how to cook from scratch, unless they watch some YouTube channel somewhere, it gets harder and harder to actually prepare, to actually cook from scratch. So you get into the boxes and the cans and the bags.
There's nothing that replaces fresh vegetables.
There you go.
Nothing.
Absolutely.
I mean, they don't even have the same taste.
No.
In fact, there's less taste when you buy it in a box than you do when you're cooking from scratch.
Absolutely. I'm convinced as well that I can taste the difference between organic and conventional. Now, that may be just a myth. That may just be in my mind. But I do believe there is a difference. Some people would debate me on that. I don't care. I like organic better, and I'm willing to pay for it. So some 3 quick swaps that people can make. Try to avoid sweets as much as possible. I know I'm old. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke. I don't drink. And you're not going to take away my favorite.
My ice cream bar before at 9 o'clock at night, I have an ice cream bar.
I gotcha. So that is almost a perfect storm there. You got the sugar and you got the dairy. And those are 2 of my top 3 things that especially seniors, but I believe everybody at every age can afford to avoid as much as possible.
Well, I'm 87 years old.
What did I say? Here it comes.
Yeah.
She made it a long time on those ice cream bars.
Absolutely. So. Absolutely. It's amazing.
Okay.
But I'm not going to give them up.
I understand.
And I'm not going to leave this earth anytime soon either.
So
there.
We know that sugar is the fuel for inflammation. So if you can avoid sugar as much as possible, things like stevia or raw honey. Stevia is a natural sweetener, and raw honey actually has some pretty powerful nutritional benefits that go beyond just an average sweetener.
My son is into that.
Yeah.
The raw honey and the organic food.
Meat becomes harder and harder to digest as we get older. And so something like salmon gives you the good fatty anti-inflammatories. And I already said that dairy, between the sensitivities, allergies, and lactose intolerance, it just causes more and more problems as we begin to age. We've got to take a break now. We'll come back in just a moment. You're listening to the Senior Hour, KHTS 98.1 AM 1220, hometownstation.com.
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Thomas Polucki, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. And our guest today is my co-host, Dr. Thomas Polucki.
That's crazy.
Yes,
That's crazy,
but we're doing all kinds of strange things.
Yeah. So in the first segment, we demonstrated the no twist, no crack chiropractic,
Right.
real time. Barb, what'd you think of that treatment?
Oh, yeah, it was amazing.
I'll take that.
I didn't realize that I was hurting until you did that with
Wait.
that little tiddly thing that went bang 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 down the edge of my body.
Okay, Barb, I'm not
Bang, bang,
asking
bang,
you
bang.
to comment on the treatment anymore.
That's the actual medical term for what you did. Yes.
Well, you can give them the actual process.
That's okay. That's okay. So, and we also talked about nutrition. My top 3 pet peeves about trying to stay healthy, need less medication as we get older. Sugar, dairy, your favorite, ice cream.
Well, that's only once a day.
Yeah. And meat. Now, I don't want to get too crazy on this. I have been vegetarian for over 20 years. It's not for everybody. I have to work very hard at getting it right because of my genetics and my metabolic type and the way that I handle stress and my hormonal balance. All these things factor into it. I should be eating like organ meats for every meal. Like I've got no business being vegetarian at all. So I'm not about to tell you that vegetarianism is right or healthy for everybody. If you are going to choose a plant-based diet, which I do recommend for a lot of people for health reasons, you're going to have to do it right. And I can tell you, even with, I don't even know, 12 years of health science education, I was totally unprepared for becoming vegetarian. So I'm going to let you know right now that doctors in general, because I went through the equivalent of medical school not once, but twice, have no idea about nutrition. We are not taught. We are taught the diseases that are related to nutritional deficiencies, and that's pretty much it. And the basic biochemistry. Beyond that, you have to deal with someone who is a specialist in nutrition in order, if you are going to make any kind of dietary changes, I strongly recommend it. And I don't necessarily mean relying on Dr. YouTube for that information. So let's switch gears now into exercise.
Okay.
You know, just like anything else, there's not one size fits all. The most common advice, the most common exercise prescription, especially for seniors, is you need to walk. You need to walk as much as possible. Ideally, a 20-minute brisk walk has been shown to have amazing health benefits. Unfortunately, Barb, how realistic is that for you? So I don't think you're unique in this. I don't think that the common advice of, oh, just walk is going to cut it for you. Even though I'm a fan, walking is powerful medicine. It's not a great exercise, but it is really good. It's necessary in order to keep you healthy. So my thing is, can't walk, dance. So in your chair, Barb, I'm going to give you a beat. Here you go.
Sound like I was being shot.
So get those hips moving, get the arms moving a little bit.
Well, I do this at home. And this.
Yeah. Right?
This is the hardest thing to do.
There you go. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but Barb is cutting a rug.
Whoa. There you go. At least you can see my toes.
There you go. So let me ask you this. Do you feel better right now than you did a minute ago?
Yes. It's amazing.
How amazing is that?
It is. It's amazing.
You know, 30
Really
seconds
is.
of that kind of full body movement. I don't care if you are laying in bed, you move like that for 30 seconds. It is going to have a powerful medicinal value in your body.
Well, also what I do is I get up to the edge of the sink.
Yeah.
And hold on to the sink.
There you go.
And do sideways kicking.
Yeah.
And back and up.
It's great. It's great.
Because when I had the physical therapist coming by, that's what she taught me how to do. So when I go into the kitchen for whatever reason, I'll stand at the sink for a few minutes. There you go.
All right.
So do the kicking.
The next thing is, you know, there's always this thing about, you talk to certain people and they're like, well, show me the study. You know, do you have an RCT on that, or a randomized control trial? Do you, show me the research. What's your citation on that? Who says? Basically what they're saying is, I don't believe you. Show me somebody who, you know, is a real expert in the field. Show me their information. That's kind of the gist of it. I'm like, okay, all right, let's look at this for a second. What we call modern medicine, and I'm not talking about Hippocrates, because modern medicine, he was not practicing modern medicine, even though he's claimed to be the father of modern medicine.
Yes.
Modern medicine is about 100 years old, give or take, with all the surgical procedures and the ideas about vaccination, the ideas about antibiotics, the ideas about surgery, these kind of things. Let's be very generous and say it's 200 years old, because there are some evidence to support some of the procedures that are being done right now were being done like in our War for Independence from England. So I know it might be a touchy subject for you, Barb, but you've been here too long to claim any kind of a problem with that. So let's say it's 200 years old, right? What I'm about to show you is over 2,000 years old, practiced by billions of people for thousands of years. So there's nothing in modern medicine that can compare to the data set of the information acquired by billions of people over thousands of years. Would you back me on that?
Absolutely.
So there's no study out there, nothing in modern medicine that comes close to the health benefits provided by either Tai Chi or yoga. So I'm going to show you two very basic, very fundamental movements in Tai Chi and yoga that are incredibly benefit. Now, the thing that those two have in common, not just that they're Asian, not just that they're thousands of years old, being performed by billions of people every single day.
In fact, at the senior center, they do both of those.
Perfect. So the thing they have in common is the breath. So first thing, before we do these two, I want to focus on proper breathing. Now, most people in modern culture, when I ask them to take a deep breath, you see their chest heave up and forward. This is done with emergency, they're called accessory muscles in your neck that actually pull up on the rib cage. It triggers a stress reaction throughout your entire system, in your brain, in your chemistry, throughout your entire body. And it is the least effective way to get air into your lungs. But this is the way we're taught to take a deep breath. I've done this thousands of times in every single group that I've ever talked to. This is one of the exercises we do. And without fail, 95% of the audience heaves their chest when they take a deep breath.
Just like I did.
Just like you did. Yes. Yeah, that's horrible. I've even been at healthcare symposiums where the speaker on the stage is showing people how to really maximize their potential, and they're doing it. And I'm like, oh, please, come on. So there's a reason it's called the belly. Our belly is our bellows. It drops the diaphragm to completely fill the lungs with air. It's the only way to get air deep into the lungs. You can't do it the other way. So belly breathing has been practiced for thousands of years by billions of people as one of the fundamental forms of medicine there is. And it's powerful, powerful medicine. So now I want you to try to take a deep breath just by moving your belly out. to fill your lungs without raising your chest at all. Cool? Pretty good.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Now we're going to do that first we're going to do it in the yoga position, because I believe yoga might be slightly older than Tai Chi, but who cares? Nobody's keeping score. So in yoga, there is a stance, and again, the cameras aren't going to pick this up, but I'll do my best to describe it. It's called, this is called, I think, gentle warrior. There's, I don't know, a dozen different warriors, probably even more than that. I'm not an expert, but this is called gentle warrior. And it's just a little bit, if you stand with your feet shoulder width apart and take a little step forward, let's just say your left foot forward, and it doesn't matter either way, but you keep your knee over your left ankle and you keep your right leg straight. So you just stepped forward a little bit with your left leg and make sure that you keep your knee over your ankle, right? So Barb, do this with me. You can do it. So step forward first start off with feet shoulder width apart. Now step forward with your left foot.
Sideways.
Step forward. Yep. Just like that. Perfect. Just like that. Now, yeah. Now, arms out to your side with your hands draped down, palms down.
Like this.
Arms out to your side. Perfect. Just like that. Now, as you take a deep breath in, turn to your right hand and turn your face to your right hand and turn your palm up. And as you blow out, back to center, and then breathe back in, turn to your left. Turn your face to your left hand, palm up, and blow out as you turn back to center. That's called gentle warrior.
How interesting.
Yeah, pretty cool.
And what's the biggest benefit from that? Is that really just to kind of center you? I don't practice yoga.
Yeah,
Is
neither do I really. I'm more of a Tai Chi guy. But all of this, these ancient medicines, are all about balance, flexibility, stability, strength, circulation, concentration of just focusing on the breath alone. Just that alone is powerful medicine.
Can I say something?
Yeah, let me get you right there.
Because it's interesting the way I was standing like that. And when you told me to breathe, I breathed from my stomach. I could tell.
How you like that?
It was automatic.
Yeah.
That's great. So then
interesting.
something like this, yoga or Tai Chi, would be great for someone like Barbara. We were talking about walking before, and walking might not always be something that you can do every day. You certainly can do that.
That is so interesting.
Now I'm going to show you something that I know a little bit more, and I do mean a little bit more. I know, I've only been studying it 40 years, so I should know a little bit about it. But Tai Chi, the opening and closing movement of Tai Chi is possibly the most important, depending on who you talk to. And the applications are endless, but I'm just going to show you without getting into too many details, because this isn't a show about that. And I certainly am not a world-renowned expert on it, but I know a little bit about it. The first movement in Tai Chi is, again, feet shoulder width apart, tail tucked under, and you act as though you're lifting something with your palms facing each other until your arms are straight out in front of you at shoulder width. You turn them and drop your arms again down to your side.
That's interesting.
So it's coiling up, breathing in, and then at the top, you flip and drop and relax.
Whoa.
And I can't even begin to scratch the surface on what that is all doing, but it's all good for you. All of it's good for you.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it's like I said, billions of people for thousands of years might be onto something about how to live longer and with less pain, and they don't have any of the medication, you know, that we rely on to stay healthy.
Are we getting close to a break?
Yeah, we got a couple seconds left. Why, do you have one quick point, or
no,
you just want to sit down?
Yeah, I didn't know whether to sit down, whether we
that's it for this demonstration. So yeah. Okay. So when we get back from the break, go ahead.
I was just going to ask quickly, again, someone like Barbara, I'll use you as my example. If she wanted to start practicing this, what's like a time limit? Should she just do this for 5 minutes? Is that effective enough, especially getting started?
There is no answer. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be vague. No, it's just there's too many variables to that. Yeah. So always work within your ability. This is not like the old no pain, no gain, macho Western training exercise. This is a very Eastern philosophy. I have been studying this for 40 years, and I do not consider myself an expert on any level. I am still a very early student, so just bear that in mind. You're listening to the Senior Hour, KHTS 98.1 AM, 1220, hometownstation.com.
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Thomas Polucki, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS. And we're speaking with my co-host, Dr. Thomas Polucki. Not speaking, we're actually doing things.
Yeah, and you sound a little bit more lively.
Well, it's crazy. Yeah. What we've done here, my insides feel different.
Yeah.
And that's because of the exercises.
All of it.
That we have been
all
doing.
Of it. Yeah. The only thing we didn't actually physically demonstrate here was the diet and the
rubber band.
But the dietary part of it, you can't really do that in real time. I can test, and it's not that strong arm, weak arm kind of thing test, but we can test in real time whether a food is having a positive effect on you or not. But that's a whole different show. Yes. I want to finish up today with something that you started off with, and I promised we'd get back to it. So we're going to close out the show with the pillar, maybe one of the most important pillars of longevity is keeping your mind sharp, because it's critically important. It is a big problem in this society. Various forms of dementia is a huge problem for so many. And I'm not about to say that I have a cure for this. Nobody does. However, there are things that you can do to keep your mind as young, as functional as possible for as long as possible. Part of it is these exercises. Part of it is the nutrition. Mm-hmm. And part of it is actually exercising your mind, exercising your brain.
Absolutely.
So I have a couple of quick, easy challenges. The first one is called the grocery store challenge. Now, in your mind, pick 10 items that you know that you need 10 grocery items that you know that you need to pick up on the way home, right? So you write them down on a piece of paper, flip it over, and wait 30 seconds. And then try to write the list again.
Oh, interesting. Well, I did that for my daughter this morning because she went grocery shopping for me.
Right. But what I'm saying is write that exact same list from memory without seeing the first existing list, and see how close you can to repeating the list point by point again. So this is a fun little exercise, and it's practical. It's something that you actually need,
interesting
in daily use. And I focused. We gave a good bit of time to the yoga and Tai Chi, the breathing, the focus on the breathing. This is critically important to keep circulation and oxygenation in your brain, which we know is a component of the loss of brain function and actually tissue loss, actual brain damage. The more that you restrict circulation and blood flow to the brain in the spine, the muscles and joints leading up to the skull of the brain, the more you compromise brain function, and it causes measurable brain loss over time.
Well, I read the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
I love reading the newspaper.
That is my third tip, and that is the curiosity challenge. Spend at least 15 minutes every single day trying to learn something new, and then at least once a week, hopefully at least more than once a week, either try to apply what you have learned or at least slip it into conversation. Like if you're talking with someone else later on in the day, try to work what you read in the paper into that conversation if you can.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's called the curiosity challenge. So between those three things, and of course there's puzzles, there's crossword puzzles for those who can still are able to do that. That's a little bit a higher level of a challenge, but any of these things can keep your mind sharp, and it's important. I prefer
I like to play solitaire on my cell phone.
Yeah,
that's really a challenge.
Yeah, that's problem solving, which I like. And the higher level of problem solving that you can maintain, the sharper you're going to keep your mind. If you can incorporate sight, sound, other experiences, physical things. What I like about things like yoga and Tai Chi they are all senses simultaneously firing, stimulating the brain to keep it sharp. So a few things to keep in mind about keeping your golden years golden. Like I said in the opening of the show, aging is inevitable, but decline is a choice. You've been listening to the Senior Hour, KHTS 98.1 AM 1220, hometownstation.com. We're sponsored by Comfort Keepers, Providence Holy Cross, and IMAC